Hey, what's up, 12s? You're probably wondering why I'm in a different location. Due to construction right next to where I film, I'm unable to film because of all the noise. So I'm filming outdoors today in the rain. So here we go. So coming out of the 2019 season, Seattle's tight end position looks pretty bleak. With Will Dissly ending the season on the injury reserve for the second year in a row, not really making it to the halfway point injury free. And then with Luke Wilson coming back, who was a great addition to the run game, injuring his knee and not really surviving long enough and getting onto the injury reserve again. So coming in, and that just leaving Jacob Holster. Tyrone Swoopes left after his contract expired at the end of the season. So Seattle needed some tight ends to bring in. They did that right away, right after the Super Bowl. Seattle was able to bring in veteran tight end Greg Olsen, a great addition. He is a little bit older and slower than what he was in Carolina's 2015 and 16 campaigns were, but a very great tight end. So that was a great addition. And then Seattle brought back 10-year Jacob Holster, re-signed Luke Wilson, and with Will Dissly still there, Seattle had a great tight end class. But they took that a step further in the draft by selecting tight end Colby Parkinson out of Stanford. Very good receiving tight end, big bulky tight end, similar to Luke Wilson, his look and body look. He has hair and an awesome beard. But a great tight end, did not drop any passes in the 2019 season, but he only caught one touchdown pass due to bad quarterback play at Stanford. So that was another big surprise with Seattle bringing in another big tight end. And then their final draft selection of this last draft, Seattle traded back into the draft and selected a wide receiver tight end combo in Stephon Sullivan out of LSU. So that made things really complicated not knowing where Seattle's going to go with their tight end group going into 2020. Are they planning on keeping all of them on the roster? Are they planning on keeping the top 3 or 4 tight ends? So that's the confusing thing. So after watching interviews from the different coaches, players, and watching different highlights and stuff, here's the tight ends that I think that will be making the roster and who will be leaving, not making it coming to the season. So the locks I have that are pretty sure to get a roster spot would be Greg Olsen, just for his talent and all that. Will Dissly, I don't believe that Seattle's going to give up on him. When healthy, he is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, similar to George Kittle. Really good. With Russell Wilson's passer rating and MVP buzz going around for the first stretch of the season was really high, thanks to Will Dissly's receiving, big play abilities and all that. So if Will Dissly can correct the ship and not get injured as early as he did the last 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure that he will be on this roster starting the season. And that comes to Colby Parkinson. I believe with his talent, and it's obviously Seattle's drafting him for the future, he's sure to make a roster spot. He's very similar to Luke Wilson, but he does not have the run blocking capabilities as Luke Wilson. So he makes the roster as for this season being a great receiving threat for Russell Wilson. And then with Luke Wilson, I believe he's making the roster as a veteran presence to kind of teach Colby Parkinson and Stephon Sullivan, kind of give him the pointers on how to run block and all that. And he's a great locker room player to keep morale up. So I believe that Luke Wilson will be here for at least one more season. Then that comes down to Jacob Holster and Stephon Sullivan. So if we were in a regular season situation where players could get to mini camps and have the training camp start in time, I would say Jacob Holster would be on his way out. He was a good receiving tight end, but not a great blocker. I don't think that, but due to all the circumstances, I think Holster still makes the roster as that final tight end. Stephon Sullivan, unless he plays very well, I think he's more of a a developmental player that will either just barely screech his way onto the final 54-man roster, I believe. Now it's no longer 52, or no, 55. Excuse me. CBA added two new roster spots, so I believe if there's one extra room, a little bit of extra room, he's going to make that final roster spot. And then Stefan Sullivan, I believe. So if he doesn't make that final roster spot, Stefan Sullivan will probably make it onto the practice squad. He has, if he gets all things together, he's going to be better than Jacob Holster with his run blocking capabilities, and he's in a way a better receiver. So that's all I got for now. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, and be sure to give me more sports related content that I can talk about. Thanks.